Wow. Tommy, how about that
Yes,
intro?
sir.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to week 6 preview of UPBL. We got Tommy in studio. And
Let's go.
we're going to be giving you the secrets, the keys to ESPN, to unlocking and beating ESPN this week. We have our picks for players for each matchup. We're going to be getting into that right after we have a quick matchup recovery from this Bears game. Tommy, what happened? Bears lose 12-7.
Unbelievable. So the under was 37.5. And I just want to talk about this bet that I made that I think could have happened at any point. At any point. And I also have a new strategy that I discovered tonight that I think I might implement in the future. And it's kind of wild. So give me a second here to just bear with me. The bet was a 4-leg parlay. So I had Justin Fields rushing a touchdown. That could have happened at any point. They were on the 8-yard line, and he threw an interception. They were on the 1-yard line. They went 4 and out. They were on the 6-yard line.
No timeouts for Chicago.
Or no. Yeah, did they go? They went 4 and out on 2 of them, didn't they? They were on the 6-yard line in the last 2 minutes. 4 and out. And I parlayed that with a Brian Robinson touchdown, which happened. Justin Fields over 25 yards rushing. He got 88. Then that only paid like $10, only paid after those 3, it only paid like 50-ish bucks. I can't remember if it was like 48 or 52, somewhere around there. It's called $50. Then I saw that the match point spread was just 37.5. So my brain went 21-28. That's going to be 49. There's no way that's going to happen. So then you get into the like 21-14. That's 36. That's what you're looking at a little bit more, but there's no way that's even going to happen. But just to hedge my bet, because I picked 2 touchdown scores, one from each team,
We've got a new slogan. Yeah,
I went way up there into the alternate total score tab on FanDuel. And it was like 47.5. Paid a buttload. Then it was 52.5. And all of a sudden, that $10 bet that was only paying like $50 after those first 3, it shot up to like $230. And I was like, I have to do that. 52.5. Like, there's no way that's going to happen, especially on a Thursday night game between the Commanders and the Bears. And that shot it up to $230.
Do you think that's because of the quarterback? Do you think that's because of Justin Fields?
I think it's because it's Thursday night football and it's both of the teams that are playing right now.
Let's
like
talk
Carson
about Thursday
Wentz
night
didn't
football.
play bad. His receivers let him down. Justin Fields and the Bears just can't make it happen. But just a little, I'm going to experiment with this little thing. You pick 2 touchdown scores. That's only 14 points, let's say, right? They make the extra kick. That's 14 points. You go way above I started testing out overs. Like it's going to be over 23.5 or something like that. And it just doesn't pay that much. But if you pick 2 touchdown scores and then take a ridiculous under for a Thursday night football game with teams like the Commanders and the Bears, I picked 52.5, James. Like you're talking 31-24. That's what the score would have to be to get over that. And I clicked on that 52.5, under 52.5 with 2 touchdown scores. Brian Robinson did score. Justin Fields had 3 chances to score. It was very possible that it would have happened. And it jumped from $10 pays 50 to $10 pays 230. Picked 2 touchdown scores and then a ridiculous under. And the odds just went bananas. I was like, oh, dude, I might have to experiment with this in the future. The Bears game sucked itself.
So what exactly do you want to experiment with betting in the future?
Like something crazy. Like, I mean, you could even pick like Kansas City versus whoever. And like you pick 2-3 touchdown scores and then you pick under 81. And like it's crazy how picking those touchdown scores and an under, even though it's as high as 81, it increased the odds ridiculously. You pick touchdown scores and a crazy under, and like just because you picked two people to score, and an under, and the odds went nuts. I think it's like a total, like it's something that we can implement in our parlays.
Moving on from the betting aspect, let's take a look at the Chicago Bears fan aspect. What do we have in Justin Fields? What do Chicago Bears fans have in Justin Fields? Is there a franchise quarterback there?
Actually, I shouldn't say nothing. Like the dude puts his whole heart and soul into playing. You could kind of see that. You could see him on the sideline, like really, really worked up about it. You've seen it in comments that he's made to ESPN and stuff like that. Like he tries, he cares.
Gritting it out.
To see.
He gritted that out, you know, right?
It's sick to see that in a Bears quarterback, though. Like I guess you could say that about Trubisky too. Like he cared, but Fields cares. He does. You see him on the sideline. He's mad about the previous drive. He's not like, I don't care, I'm making a bunch of money. Like he wants to win. It's just not happening. Red zone. We got red zone issues.
Well, can Justin Fields overcome the issues that we're seeing him have? He doesn't have zing on his ball. He seems to have an indecisiveness inside the pocket to the point where he holds on to it a little bit too long. When he does run, it's exciting. He's maybe one of the better runners in the league when it comes to 100%. Running the football and taking off.
100%.
He is definitely up there with right under Lamar Jackson and those types of players when it comes to running. But when it comes to making the decision and where to go to the ball, that is severely lacking. Do you think he can overcome those issues?
I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen with the Bears. I kind of just agree with you because he just seems so timid. When he does throw the ball, sometimes it's super accurate, and it just so happens that every time he does that, the receiver makes a mistake. And then the times that the receiver doesn't make a mistake, Justin Fields almost seems to question his decision as his arm is halfway to throwing it.
We did see the first touchdown.
There's my decision. My decision. He throws it, and then halfway through, he seems to change his mind, and then the ball falls at their ankles.
Yes, we do see that often with Justin. There's an indecisiveness that rings true. And when he there's no zing to his pass when he is decisive. His loft balls, his deep balls, great. He has good deep balls.
Yeah, accurate with the lofts. Yeah.
But we do need to get these zinged balls over the middle, over to the corner, over to the flats, over to the sidelines. He needs to start pinging those. And the pings that I'm seeing, they do not have the zing, the zest that I'm looking for. But he did throw the first touchdown in 3 weeks in Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football must be said, right? He did throw the first touchdown in a few weeks.
Thursday night. But to go, like, the first thing that comes to mind after what you just said, I think it goes back to week 2, where he had that crazy touchdown where he was running out of the pocket, held onto it forever, and then he launched it clean across field, like west to east, and hit that guy for a touchdown. I don't remember who it was, but it was even that ball. Like he like lofted it to him. It's like, dude, rip it to him. Like the ball was in the air for way too long, and you were just like, what's happening? And then they ended up getting a touchdown out of it, but it was just like, throw the ball, like rip it to him. You see him, and just give it to him.
That's what we're not seeing. Like that's what I see with Trevor Lawrence. So I see when he sees a guy, he gets it to him. When Justin Fields sees a guy, he moves on to the next progression just in case. So he's like stuck in Matt Nagy. He's stuck in Matt Nagy's offense where he's like, okay.
I think he's stuck in Chicago, man, where we just have had bad quarterbacks forever, and I think we crucify our quarterbacks, and he's feeling that pressure. Like, if I don't perform, Chicago roast me. And he's right. Because that is what we do. Because we've always had bad quarterbacks. And I think he's feeling that pressure.
All right, let's end the Bears conversation with any final comments here we got about the Bears. What's your final comments about the Bears?
That's it. That's it right there.
You've nothing to say about them?
Not good. Just not good. 7 points.
Their upcoming next opponent is the Patriots on Monday night, 7:15.
Oh God.
If Mac Jones is the quarterback, does it really matter who's the quarterback for Patriots? Who do you see winning this match?
The Patriots, and I'm taking the under.
And that's going to be at Gillette Stadium. Bears at New England Monday night next week. All right, let's get into fantasy this week real quick. Like we got about 24 players, 2 from each team, of which we have picked a boom and a bust. We're going to beat ESPN. If you want to beat ESPN, tag along with Uncle Tommy and me. All right, everybody, trickle in, get in closer. We're going to start off with this matchup, Social Propaganda versus Zeke of Nature. Our boom player for James, Gabe Davis. Our boom for Zeke, Aaron Rodgers. How you feeling about those? Gabe Davis and Aaron Rodgers.
Gabe Davis is definitely going to boom. I think we saw it last week.
Taking on Kansas City.
Taking on Kansas City. Like this is going to be a shootout. Buffalo and KC both capable of putting up big points. Buffalo's had some rough weeks. Gabe Davis has not. And
yes, he
I
has.
think Gabe Davis has some rough weeks?
He had one rough week, but it was because he was coming back from injury.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But regardless, he's projected at 11.5. I think he's going to do, I mean, it's just to be safe, I'm going to say he's going to do at least 12.
He's going to do a lot better than 11.5. I agree. And I also think Aaron Rodgers going against the Jets at home, coming off of a little weird loss in London. He's going to be getting things on the right track, on the right side of the tracks there. I think 16.4 is a little bit of an under there. I think you're going to see north of 20 points for Aaron Rodgers against the Jets. You agree? Are you in on that or are you out?
I think I am. He's been rough this year, but I always do that thing where I think he's due. I know you're not supposed to, but I think he's due. I think he's due for a big game. And against the Jets, he's got that Dobbs. I can't remember how to say it.
Dobbs, Lazard, Christian Dotson.
Yeah, Lazard. I like Lazard and Dobbs. And I think he's going to connect with them.
I like those 2 picks. Meanwhile, for bust this week, I already have mine on paper. I picked Curtis Samuel as my bust. He was predicted to score 2nd most points on my team for wide receivers. They had him right after Gabe Davis, and I was like, I don't buy. And a lot of the pundits were picking him top 20 receiver this week, and I was like, I have Lazard this week, and I was really weighing between Lazard and Curtis Samuel, and I'm like, I want a piece of this Aaron Rodgers matchup rather than Thursday night with Curtis Samuel. I like Curtis Samuel rest of season a lot, but I did not like him going into night with the Bears secondary, which is one of the better night. The Bears secondary, terrible. The Bears secondary is one of the better secondaries in the league because of these 2 rookies, Brisker and Kyler Gordon. They're actually one of the best.
We've made this joke before. I know Danny has too. Like, people play terrible. The Bears are so bad that they make the other team play terrible. Yes. It could be a good team against the Bears, and the Bears will have 10 points, but the good team will only have like 13, 14, 17. It's like, it's weird that way. The Bears are so bad they make the other team play bad. So I like that call.
And so they picked him for 11.4 and he put up 1.6, and thankfully I had him on my bench. Meanwhile, over on Zeke's side, I'm predicting Matt Stafford to have a down week against Carolina offense. They're home at LA Rams, so maybe it's going to be a bad pick. Do you debate this? Where are you feeling with 15 points, Matt Stafford?
I don't believe in Matt Stafford or the Rams right now. And to be honest with you, in one of my other leagues, I am considering dropping him for another player.
Wow,
that
he's
league
got
is
4
differently
weeks
set up than ours, so there's a lot more quarterbacks that are still available. But I'm considering dropping Matt Stafford.
It makes sense. I see 4 weeks. I see 4 weeks of sub 11 points from a quarterback. 1 week of 18 points. And that's just not good enough from a quarterback, right?
Not at all. And I mean, they got San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Arizona, They do have a bye week coming up in week 7.
So you think
maybe
about
get it
dropping
together,
him? San Francisco's good
I'm
defense.
considering
Arizona is
dropping.
not. New Orleans is. Kansas City is okay. He's the starter.
He's the starter, but I don't know. They haven't proven themselves.
But we're predicting bust this week for Matthew Stafford. Let's move on to the Jamaican Shamans versus Space Colony Revenge, Angry Revengers. Over on Uncle Tommy, Gabriella, and Ryan's side, I'm predicting Joe Burrow for the bust this week, 7.2 points. I think he's going to score under versus New Orleans.
I agree completely.
It's a risk. It's going to be a hairline. I think 16-15. He's not going to severely disappoint, but he's going to underproduce is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and that actually leads into one of our others coming up.
Meanwhile,
later.
on the other side of the ball, I see Kirk Cousins as having a good week for Uncle Tommy. Kirk Cousins is going against Miami's defense, a good defense nonetheless, but it smells like it's going to be a good Kirk week.
They started off good.
It smells like it's going to be a Kirk week. How do you feel about Justin Jefferson this week, though? We'll get into that later. Moving over to Austin's side, we have Mariota 13.7. I think he's going to bust against San Francisco. That's a small amount of points already, but I think he could even do even worse against the San Francisco defense.
For me, just the name Marcus Mariota, I just don't trust it. That's a bust.
Meanwhile, I have for Austin, I have Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I want a piece of that Buffalo Kansas City game, and MVS is quite the piece to get in. He's a mystery piece. He's been trending upwards in the right direction, but still has not solidified a role yet. Nobody really has in the KC offense, so that's the nice thing. You don't know what you have there yet, but you might have a pretty good cookie bar.
All I have to add to that is that same thing that we said earlier, the KC Buffalo game. I think it's going to be a shootout, and MVS is on the roster. He's gonna pick up something.
So to recap,
yards, maybe.
So to recap, we got
touchdown. I think so.
So to recap, we got Kirk Cousins for boom and MVS for boom for Uncle Austin and Uncle Tommy. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow and Marcus Mariota for busts. Moving on to the next matchup, we're going to be taking Jack and Jeffrey, putting them under the microscope. I think Walker over Ken Walker, debutante, is going to be putting up over 10.8 points for Jack. Meanwhile, I think for Jeff, Christian Kirk. I think people are sleeping on him. They've been having a couple bad weeks, and they're like, I think, meanwhile, over in Jacksonville, the coaches are like, we got to get Kirk re-involved in the offense. We had things working back then. What happened? We got to get him reintegrated to the offense. Meanwhile, fantasy owners will panic. I think the real team is like, we got to get that ball back to Kirk's hands, and that's what's going to happen this week, and I'm predicting boom for Christian Kirk.
I think both picks were good for both teams. I think Christian Kirk's been good for Jeff, but picking up KW triple was a good move by Jack, because he told me and Danny, he was like, I'm predicting it right now. Penny is going to get hurt. So he had KW triple in his back pocket, and just, we're going to see. And I think he's going to boom too.
Jack had that pegged, and it was awesome. It also relieved a roster spot that he had, because he had the handcuff, and he was like, you know what? It's great that that paid off, but now it's created the next thing. It's created an open roster spot on his situation because he had the insurance back. I think that our league every year gets better. And because year after year, more and more people stashing some of the better players, and literally Kenneth Walker so available on so many other leagues, waiver wires, not available in UPBL.
Dude, he was like the first pick in every other league that I've been in, and like Jack just had him ready to go.
Meanwhile, for busts, I'm picking Jamar Chase, 15.2. Let's hear the comments in the chat. Let's hear the boos, boo, because I imagine like I'm picking Jamar Chase flushes 15.2 this week, and Jags defense predicted to put up 9.2 against Indy. Indy's going to have a bounce back week. They already lost, got crushed by Jacksonville. They can't lose twice to an in division rival, especially when they think they're Super Bowl contenders. Not going to happen. Jags defense not putting up 9.2. Chase not putting up 15.2 points against New Orleans and their stout defense and their stout pass defense. You in on those or out?
I'm actually out on that. I'm gonna go against the grain here. I think I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts as the bust for Jags. Dallas has been playing pretty well, and Jalen Hurts has just kind of been a little too good. I'm just, I don't know. No,
Where are
he's
you getting
probably gonna
Jalen
get-
Hurts? Or you're getting Jalen Hurts from the Jags?
I'm just trying to pick someone else because Jamar Chase, I don't know. I think he's still gonna have a good game, and I'm trying to pick somebody else, but I don't think.
Well, Carson Wentz was the clear answer, right? 16 points. He put up 4, but we can't go back and retrospect.
Yeah, but I can't pick that because it's already there.
I didn't predict that.
There.
We know I predicted
We could do Jacoby Myers, but
my
that
one
almost
because
seems too easy too.
Jacoby Myers. You think so? There you go.
Questionable. I mean, I don't know. I just don't trust it yet. I still think.
Let's stick with our plan. And my guys are Jamar Chase for bust, and you say boom. My guys and Jags and my Jags defense, I'm saying bust, and you're saying
boom.
You're saying boom for Jags defense against Indy?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're saying bust.
I don't know.
There's the disagreement there. All right, just to recap, Uncle Tommy says boom on Chase. I'm saying bust on Chase. Jags defense, we're both saying bust. Moving on to the next matchup, we got Little Tommy. I call him Uncle Tommy, but Little Tommy, Uncle Tommy, taking on Uncle Jay. And we're going to start off with the obvious. Tommy, I don't know if people could look closely at your lineup, but you got a pretty obvious bust right off the bat.
Derek Carr, baby, bye week.
Derek Carr and Jared Goff on bye week. He traded for both quarterbacks, but after this week, he won't have any quarterbacks on bye week, so that'll be a nice thing. Meanwhile, over on Uncle Jay's side, I'm thinking George Kittle is the bust. 7.8. He might turn around this week, but he has not had a good season.
He hasn't had a good season. He got targeted a little too much last week, I think. I think there was other receivers open that if Garoppolo would have hit them, they would have scored way more points. I think George Kittle got the ball a little too much, and I don't think it's going to continue. I think Jimmy's going to realize that. I think the coaches are going to realize that. And I think they're going to be targeting a little more Samuel or who's the other guy I'm thinking of? San Francisco. Ayuk.
Meanwhile, for booms, I have Ramondre Stevenson at 15.1. I see him putting up 18 like he did last week. He could do it again, especially with no Damian Harris there this week. And a lot of their other backup running backs missing. Ramondre Stevenson's going to be getting bell cow duties this week in New England. So I'm predicting boom on 15.1. And Jimmy Garoppolo over on Goon Squad, 12.8 versus Atlanta defense. Yep. I think he could put up 13.
It seems contradictory to
Jimmy could boom. He could get more than
Kittle
13.
as our bust and Garoppolo as our boom, but I think you're right. I think we're right. I think that we're going to see a little more Samuel and a little more Ayuk. Jimmy's going to have a good game.
Jimmy's going to put up 16, 17 points. It's going to be a respectable week for Jimmy. Meanwhile, on Elliot, move on over to Elliot versus Bruce. I have Breece Hall marked for a doozy of a bust. 14.4. I don't think he's going to do it against Green Bay. When you're down against Aaron Rodgers, you're going to be throwing the ball, not running it. That's my prediction. Also, on the other side, Joe Mixon predicted to put up 15.2. I don't think so, Tim. Versus New Orleans, I think Cincinnati's going to be having a down week with that offensive line. That has been causing them struggles all year long, going against one of the better defenses in NFL in New Orleans. Joe Mixon's not going to be putting up 15.2 points. Those are my two busts. Breece Hall, Joe Mixon. You in?
Yep.
Moving on to our booms. Geno Smith, 19.6 points. Boom. You think Geno Smith's going to boom higher? I think.
Come on.
He's going to hit. I think he's going to hit there. Let's take a look what he's done.
I think he's going to put up another 20, at least 23. I think he'll put up another.
Here's what Geno's done. 17 weeks, 17, 6, 19, 31, 24. So 2 scores over 24 points and then 3 scores under 19. You think he's going to put over 20?
I'm gonna put the line at 23 for Geno Smith.
I
think
like that.
23 against Arizona.
I'll take that because Arizona's a bad offense, and Geno Smith's at home. They got that 13th man or that 12th man, however it works in there in Arizona, Seattle. So I'll take 23 points from Geno Smith. Okay, I'll buy you on the boom. Meanwhile, on the other side of the docket, we have Deebo Samuel clocked in at 14.1. I actually think he's going to get 20 plus. Clock touchdown, 100 plus yards. It's going to be a Deebo Smith type of day because it just hasn't clicked yet. And this is the day it clicks at Atlanta in the Dome. Shanahan is going to be at home. Shanahan's visiting his former stomping grounds, guys. He's got
a reason to win.
He's got something.
He's got a reason to win.
Prove.
We talked about it last matchup. I think Deebo Samuel and Ayuk. I think it's going to be a big week from both of them. Jimmy's going to throw the ball, and we're going to yell, Jimmy! And Jack and Danny are going to laugh and text me because they're going to be like, remember when you said that and he threw an interception? And I'm going to be like, yep.
Exactly. Moving on to the last matchup. We have Dr. Teddy taking on Team Danky Punch Danny. My booms are Travis Kelce because I want a piece of that KC game. Are you in on that?
Yep, it's going to be the shootout. It's got to be the shootout. KC versus Buff.
And my boom for Danny's team, Marquise Brown, 14.5 last week before DeAndre Hopkins rejoins the squad. I think they play Thursday night next week, by the way. But last week before DeAndre Hopkins rejoins the Roost, they're going to feed Marquise tonight. And, he's been getting 10, 11 targets. I could see that continuing. He's been putting up 17 points almost on the reg the last 3 weeks. They're saying 14 points versus Seattle defense. They're just middle of the road. I could see him doing 17 points again easily. Boom.
He's 3 out of 5 games. He's over 14.5. And his fourth game, not far behind with 12.5. So it's pretty, I think that's an easy boom.
Meanwhile, for busts, I have Ezekiel Elliott, 9.4. He has not hit his earmarks. And finally, that score's finally reflecting what he is more likely to hit. And even still, versus Philadelphia Eagles, I just think he's going to be on the underside of that, underside of 9.8. Bust for Zeke Elliott. How you feeling?
He's got a lot of negative receiving yards. Touches, god damn, that's actually really disappointing to look at. Carries, double digits each game. 2 of them around 20, and it's just like the yards don't play. He's got 1 rushing touchdown on the season. He's averaging, 8.3 points, and it looks like, I don't know, quick math, probably around 3.8 yards a carry. That's not good.
When's the levy going to break?
I don't. You got to give it to Pollard. Got to give it to Pollard.
Got to give it to Pollard. Meanwhile, over on Danny's side of the ball, I'm predicting for bust this week. How you feeling about Wilson for a bust this week?
Oh, well, it's funny you should say that. I think busts this week are going to be every name that ends with O-N. So Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson, Justin Jefferson, and A.J. Dillon.
But we predicted Kirk. I predicted Kirk to have a good week. You think Kirk's going to have a good week, but now throwing to Justin Jefferson? I'm not so sure about that. I'm going to pick Justin Jefferson to still continue. I'm debating you on that Justin Jefferson point. I disagree.
Justin Jefferson? You disagree. All right, well.
Meanwhile, Taysom Hill. What about Taysom? What about? Well, we could throw a sandwich bet.
Jefferson. Let's do a sandwich bet here.
Sandwich bet here.
People.
All right, sandwich bet for the people.
15.8 over or under.
Over under. I'm taking the over, and you're taking the under.
Take the under.
Let's go.
All right. Sandwich bet.
Let's see what he's done. He's done 34, 7, 2, 26, 24. He's got 3 overs, 2 unders. Did he have 4 overs or 3 unders? Sandwich is on the line. Let's go. Maybe
that's the main one. Let's go.
What do you want? Jersey Mike's? Maybe a little the deli down the street, or
get a little Euro at Mildes or something.
All right, we'll figure it out. That sounds great. All right, sandwich bet there on Justin Jefferson. I'm taking the over. Tommy's taking the under. And Tommy's also saying under on every player with an ON. Zach Wilson, Justin Jefferson, Russell Wilson, and A.J. Dillon. Are you going to throw Taysom Hill in there with that 6.4? Do you actually think he might overproduce?
I would throw him in there.
His name ends with O-M. That's pretty close. His first name.
It is close. What's weird is Taylor, Jonathan Taylor is very close to O-N as well. Nah, you can't throw all those guys in.
Man,
someone's got to produce.
We might see a sub double-digit point this week from all those players. That'd be incredible. That'd be crazy. You heard it here first on Throwing Ropes podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, comment below. Let us know who you think is going to boom or bust. Who are your predictions to beat ESPN or not beat ESPN? That's how we do it here. Little Uncle Tommy, greatly appreciate you joining us here on Throwing Ropes, your awesome, amazing channel here on YouTube. How's it going? And you want to close down the show?
I think you said enough, brother. It's great to see you all. Week 6. Shit's getting thick. Love you, brother.
Love you, brothers. Love you, sisters. Love you, guys. Catch you guys later on the next one. Guys, good luck. Week 6. Let's get it going.